I do want to bring it back to the idea of training and the deftness of the diplomacy you describe in this terrific Uganda example, the sort of precision diplomacy that you're talking about. How much of that is happening under President Trump?
Here's the thing. The embassies where it's happening, the people who are trying to do it, want to keep quiet about it. Because they're afraid that if word got out, they may be told by the White House
to stop.
Right. Well, that's the reality. It's, you know, when I visited several embassies in the fall, many of them said, it may surprise people, but we're not doing things that much differently from what we would have been doing had Hillary won the election. The day-to-day work, you know, relationship building, cultivating a relationship, the day-to-day business of the United States that has to do not only with political matters, but of course the economy, with business, with security cooperation, with anti-terrorism legislation or financing and all that, with health issues.
That work is continuing, yeah.
It is continuing. A lot of what has been done since 9/11 in American diplomacy has focused on good governance in other countries. Because after 9/11, the Bush administration came to the conclusion that the best way to reduce the chance of conflict anywhere in the world is to get as many countries as possible to practice good governance.
Right.
And now they're turning back to us and say, you're trying to teach us good governance? Really? Have you looked at your own front yard?
That's another question, is
right.
Whether the example of the Trump administration itself has undermined its core diplomatic mission. But before we move on from that point, are you saying then, because all of this work continues, because there has been a lot of press reports about how the State Department has just been gutted, that there are many ambassadorships that have not been filled, that there are mid-level positions and deputy positions that remain unfilled. Are you saying that we shouldn't worry about that because the important work that happens on the government-to-government level is still happening? Are you not concerned?
I am concerned. No, these are not mutually exclusive. Certain work is happening, but that doesn't mean that that work wouldn't be more effective, more productive if those positions had been filled. It's just the people who are in those jobs are doing their best with what they have.
Right.
But in many embassies, as you point out, there are no ambassadors. Now, it's a fair question to ask, is a bad political ambassador with no qualifications better or worse than no ambassador, right?
Right.
Or having the deputy chief of mission, who is a career person, to be acting ambassador.
Right, which is happening in many embassies.
Yes. Well, 1/3 of U.S. embassies have political ambassadors. Well, historically about 1/3, and now I think we're getting more now.
And that was true with Obama and
that's in you know, either party in power. It doesn't matter. And some of those political appointed ambassadors turn out to be great, and some of them, in fact, become more successful than any career person can ever be because they have a great relationship with the president. Because they speak the language. What I mean by this is most career diplomats in a foreign country speak the language of that country. At least they're taught the language before they go, and they have to test to be able to go to that post. But that's very different from actually the ambassador of the United States getting up at a conference and speaking that language in public.
Right.
It's just enormously important for forget the government of that country. It's for the people of that country to feel like the ambassador of the United States, who in many countries is almost as important as the president of that country, by the way, can somehow relate to them because they speak the same language.